Hello everyone and welcome to my video lecture series. So today we are going to start with a new topic which is called as control and coordination. Okay, so this basically deals with the nervous system and also the endocrine system. Anyway, so today in this lecture we are going to start with the initial part of control and coordination, which is going to be about the nervous system which is found in lower animals. Okay, we are going to talk about two animals. First of all, we are going to talk about Hydra, which is an example of an organism found in phylum Nidaria, okay, which is formerly phylum Coelenterata. And the other example of an animal showing a very less developed nervous system is going to be Planaria, which belongs to the phylum Platyhelminthes. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, kindly do so. Okay. Also press the bell icon so that you get updates whenever I upload. Anyway, starting with today's topic, we're going to start with control and coordination. All right. Now, before we start with the nervous system of Hydra and nervous system of Planaria, what do we mean by control and coordination? Now please remember, here we are going to study about the two systems. Okay, the first system is going to be the nervous system. The nervous system, basically when we talk about the nervous system, the two main parts that we can think of are the brain and the spinal cord, right? But please remember that brain and spinal cord are present only in advanced organisms. Okay, they are not present in lower animals. Lower animals have much simpler cells which act as a part of the nervous system. Also, higher animals have an additional system which is called as the endocrine system. Okay, so I'm writing it down over here. So basically in control and coordination we have to learn about these two systems. Now when I'm talking about the lower organisms are the lower animals only have the nervous system. Okay, they do not have the endocrine system. So for us it is very important to differentiate between these two systems. What is the function of the nervous system? What is the function of the endocrine system? Now please remember, the nervous system basically functions to receive the stimuli. Okay, the various stimuli that you get. Okay, there are many sense organs present in our body. Eyes are present, ears are present, skin is present, nose is present. All these sense organs receive external stimuli, right? And these stimuli need to be processed. They need to be sent to the brain, and whatever further action needs to be taken, that message has to be sent back to the respective muscle or the sense organ. Correct? So the nervous system, the primary job of the nervous system is to basically understand the stimuli and process them and give an appropriate response. Is this clear? So all the lower animals which have a nervous system, in them whatever parts are forming the nervous system, they may be sensory cells or they may be neurons. These organs are trying their level best to help in the processing of all these stimuli. Okay, in higher animals the same thing will be done by more complex organs called as brain, spinal cord, right? What is the function of the endocrine system? The endocrine system is the system which is basically secreting chemicals called as hormones. I think you must have heard of this, right? It is also called as the hormonal system. Hormones are basically chemical messengers, and the main function of the endocrine system is to coordinate the different organ systems present in the body. And hence please remember, the endocrine system is present only in higher animals. Okay, you will not find this endocrine system in lower animals like worms or arthropods or mollusks. Are you getting me? So you will not find this endocrine system in non-chordates because it is a very specialized type of system. I will give you an example of a function which is done by the endocrine system. Suppose if I say that the brain wants to control the insulin which is released by the pancreas, right? There are cells called as the beta cells present in the islets of Langerhans which release insulin. Now, how will the brain control the release of insulin? It will basically release hormones, Okay, and these hormones will travel from the pituitary gland to the pancreas, and they will signal the pancreas to release the hormone, which is insulin. So basically the endocrine system helps in coordinated activities of the organ system of the body, whereas the nervous system helps in processing of stimuli. So I hope the difference between them is clear. When you talk about lower animals only have a nervous system, they do not have the endocrine system. Now let us move ahead. Okay, I'll just rub this off. Now we have to study two animals, okay, which belong to non-chordates, right? The first example is an animal which is called as Hydra. Does anybody know to which phylum does Hydra belong? Hydra belongs to the phylum called as Cnidaria, right? Initially this phylum was called as Coelenterata, and the name was because of the body cavity which is called as a coelenteron, right? But now these are called as cnidarians because they possess stinging cells which are called as cnidoblast. Anyway, so now when we talk about Hydra is actually the first animal which is showing some sort of a nervous system, right? When we talk about non-chordates, the most primitive phylum is called as phylum Porifera, which consists of sponges. Sponges do not have a nervous system. They do not have any kind of nerve cells, or they don't have neurons, okay, nor do they have sensory cells. So nervous system is completely absent. However, when we talk about Cnidaria, then we just see that a rudimentary or a very simple or a very primitive type of nervous system is formed, okay, and this nervous system which is present in Hydra or in Cnidarians, it is called as a diffused type of nervous system. Okay, I'll explain this to you, what is the meaning of a diffuse type. So please remember, if you are asked the question which are the first animals which show the presence of a nervous system, then the answer is Cnidarians, or the animals belonging to the phylum Cnidaria. Here we are going to study the example of Hydra. Now suppose if we want to see the type of nervous system present in Hydra, now the body of the Hydra, basically there is a cylindrical body, right? And towards the anterior end are present the tentacles. So I'm sure everybody knows about this structure of Hydra. So these are the tentacles which I'm drawing over here, right? So this is your Hydra. Now the nervous system present over here is called as the diffuse type of nervous system. What is a diffuse type of nervous system? Basically, if you see the nervous system, it shows the appearance of a net. All right, so if I want to show it over here, the nervous system basically appears like a net, a mesh like structure which is there, okay, and this is present throughout the body. It is present in the tentacles, right? It is present in the main body cavity, which is the coelenteron or the gastrovascular cavity. So this nervous system, it is called as the nerve net because it shows a net like appearance. Now what is this nerve net? Basically Hydra shows the presence of nerve cells or neurons, right? Neurons are also called as the nerve cells. These are the cells of the nervous system. Now these neurons are connected to each other via synapse. I'm sure you must have heard of the word synapse. Let me write it down over here. Synapse is basically when two neurons send messages to each other, right? The neuron which sends the message to the other neuron is called as the presynaptic neuron. The neuron which receives the message is called as the postsynaptic neuron. And this connection, this temporary connection between them to send the message across, that is called as a synapse. We will be learning this in subsequent lectures, so don't worry. So all these neurons are connected to each other, and each neuron has got fibers. You must have heard of dendrites, dendrons, axons. So all these fibers are basically forming this nerve net like appearance. So basically if I want to summarize about the nervous system of Hydra, I can say that it is only made up of neurons, and these neurons are connected by their fibers. The fibers are basically axon and dendrons, correct? And these fibers are connected to each other, they give a net like appearance, and this is called as a diffuse means it is spreading to all the parts of the body. This is not called as a central nervous system or a peripheral nervous system. Please remember, that is a slightly advanced type of nervous system. This is the most primitive type of nervous system where only nerve cells are present. Is this clear? Now one more thing to remember is when we talk about Hydra, the neurons which are present, they are not differentiated into sensory and motor neurons. Does anybody know what are sensory neurons, what are motor neurons? I'll give you a moment to think till I write it down. So suppose if I take the example of a human being, suppose if I touch a hot object, right? So when I touch that hot object, that stimulus is received by the skin, and that message that that object is hot, that is taken by the neurons called as sensory neurons. So the sensory neurons receive the stimulus, they convert it into an electrical impulse, and that electrical impulse is carried to the brain or the spinal cord. Now what happens is, as that sensory neuron or as those sensory neurons carry that impulse to the brain or spinal cord, then a decision has to be taken regarding what do I do with my hand. Do I keep it over there? Do I remove it? If it is too hot, I need to remove my hand, right? So that decision is taken by the brain or the spinal cord, and then a reply is sent. Another electrical impulse is sent, and that electrical impulse is sent via motor neurons. And the motor neurons basically go to the target muscle. So if I want to move my hand, then the motor neurons will finally reach the muscles of my hand or the palm, so that if I want to remove my hand, so all those required muscles, they will contract or relax, and I can move my hand away from the object. So sensory neurons carry the stimulus in the form of electrical impulse towards the central nervous system or towards the brain and spinal cord. The motor neurons carry the reply in the form of electrical impulse to the target muscle. Is this clear? So these are the two type of neurons, but in Hydra, the neurons are not differentiated into these two types. So Hydra, the neurons which are present, they are not differentiated into sensory or motor neurons. So there is no particular direction of flow of electrical impulse. Please remember, the impulse, if it is generated, it may flow in any direction, and in whichever direction it flows, that particular part will contract or it will relax, and it will show the movement. For example, when the Hydra is trying to move or it is trying to capture the prey with its tentacles, so the direction of flow of impulse is not happening in a particular way. It is random. Please remember, because of absence, these neurons are absent, sensory and motor neurons. So you cannot say that there is a particular direction to the impulses which are traveling. Also, there is no brain, there is no spinal cord. So you can say that this diffuse nervous system is only made up of neurons which are not differentiated into sensory and motor. These neurons are connected by the dendrons and axons. These are also called as the nerve fibers, and because of the fibers there is a net-like appearance, and it is called as the diffuse nervous system. That is it. That is the nervous system present in Hydra, and this is the first organism, or this is the first group of organisms where the nervous system has been formed, and that is the cnidarians. I hope this is clear. Now, apart from these cells, which are the neurons or the nerve cells, there are other cells which are present, right? The other cells which are present, they are called as the sensory cells. Okay, now the sensory cells, I am showing them over here in the diagram with a green color. These cells will basically pick up the external stimulus. So they will pick up the external stimulus, they will send the stimulus to the neurons will conduct the impulse via synapse in whichever direction they want, right? And that will cause the movement of the organism. I hope this is clear. So the nervous system is made up of the sensory cells which will receive the external stimulus, and the neurons. But neurons are not divided or differentiated into sensory and motor neurons. I hope this part is clear. Okay, now please remember additional things that you need to remember. This nerve net which is present, that basically it originates into a layer which is called as the mesoglia. So I'm going to write it down. I think you must have heard of the word mesoglia. So mesoglia is a layer which is present in diploblastic animals. What are diploblastic animals? Diploblastic animals are the animals which are having only two germ layers. See, in advanced animals there are three germ layers. There is ectoderm, there is mesoderm, there is endoderm, and the entire body is formed out of these three germ layers. But in diploblastic animals, diplo is two. There is only ectoderm and endoderm, and between them there is a temporary germ layer called as mesoglia, which later on evolves into higher animals and forms mesoderm. So you can say in triploblastic animals like man, we have three germ layers: ecto, meso, endoderm. And in diploblastic animals like hydra, there are two germ layers, ecto and endo, but in between there is a layer called mesoglia. So from the mesoglia, the nerve net will start. It will go into the cavity of the body. Now the cavity in the case of cnidarians, it is called coelenteron, or it is also called as the gastrovascular cavity, right? So it will go into that. Then another set of nerve net will go into the epidermis. Okay, so basically the body surface is having neurons, the cavity is having neurons, and these are connected by nerve net. And nerve net is nothing but the fibers which are connecting the neurons to each other, and these arise in the mesoglia. So I hope this is clear. Now apart from these lower animals, even we have got this diffused type of nervous system. It is present in the gut. Okay, so the gut of our body also has this diffuse type of nervous system. So I hope this part is clear, and with that we end this nervous system in hydra. Now let us move on to another organism. Okay, the other organism that we are going to study today is belonging to a phylum called as phylum Platyhelminthes, and we are going to study about the organism called as Planaria, right? Planaria is a type of a worm. It is a flatworm. It belongs to phylum Platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes basically means flat worms. Platy is flat, helminthes is worms, right? Now the nervous system in Planaria is much more advanced compared to the nervous system in hydra. Definitely, because Platyhelminthes is a much more advanced phylum when you compare it with phylum Cnidaria, right? So over here, for the first time in the history of all animals, we see that central nervous system is formed. When we talked about hydra, we talked about diffuse nervous system. Here we are talking about the central nervous system. So for the first time in all the organisms, the central nervous system was first formed in Platyhelminthes. Here we are going to study the example called as Planaria. Now please remember, when we talk about central nervous system, we immediately think about the brain and spinal cord. No, here there is no brain, there is no spinal cord, but yet you can see the nervous system which is called as the central nervous system. Now let us study this nervous system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sketch a diagram of Planaria, right? So if you have seen Planaria, the head is somewhat like this. It's triangular in shape, and then the body of the organism is like this, right? So this is the shape, this is the external structure of Planaria. Now when we talk about the nervous system, there is something which is called as the cephalic or the cerebral ganglion. I'm going to draw it over here, please pay attention. There is a U-shaped structure in the head region, right? And this structure I'm drawing over here, you can see it is an inverted U-shaped structure, right? So yeah, this is the structure. This inverted U-shaped structure it is called as the cephalic or the cerebral ganglion. Now let us understand the meaning of all these words. Cephalic means anything which is related to the head, it is called as cephalic. Anything which is present in the head region, it is cephalic. Cerebral stands for cerebrum, which is a part of the brain, so again it is related to the head. So anything which is present in the head, it is called as cephalic or cerebral. What is a ganglion? Does anybody know what a ganglion is? Let me write it down over here. So ganglion is basically a mass or a group of neurons present together, or you can say a bunch of neurons present together, they are called as a ganglion. Okay, ganglion is a singular word. If I am talking about many ganglions, then I can use the word ganglia, Ganglia. So the plural is ganglia, right? So over here you see a ganglion, which is basically a cluster or a group of neurons, and it is an inverted U-shaped ganglion, and this is also called as the cephalic or the cerebral ganglion, and this is basically called as the brain in the case of planaria or platyhelminthes. It is not actually a brain, but we are giving it the designation of brain. Okay, now please remember, from this ganglion, cerebral or cephalic ganglion, there are two cords. Okay, these are called as the nerve cords, which arise ventrally. Okay, so there are two surfaces. There is a ventral surface, which is the front surface of the body, dorsal surface, which is a back surface. So in the case of lower animals, the nervous system is ventral in position. As we go on becoming more and more complex, the higher animals have a dorsal nervous system. For example, in the case of human beings, our nervous system is present on the dorsal surface. In the case of planaria, it is not a very complex organism. It is going to have nervous system on the ventral surface, that is on the front side. So what happens is, there are two nerve cords which arise from this cephalic ganglion. I'm going to change the color now so that it becomes easy to understand. And these nerve cords will travel from the head region towards the end of the body, right? So there are two of these cords which are traveling downwards, and these nerve cords are basically abbreviated as VNC. VNC stands for ventral nerve cord. In our body, we have the spinal cord. Planaria has something called as the ventral nerve cord. There are two ventral nerve cords which arise from the cephalic or the cerebral ganglion. Now, these two nerve cords are connected to each other. Okay, and because of the connection, it shows a ladder like appearance. So these structures which I am drawing, and these structures are basically connecting the two ventral nerve cords. These structures, right, they are called as lateral nerves, or they are also called as lateral commissures. I hope this is clear. These lateral nerves, they are also called as, so in some of the textbooks you might get them labeled as transverse nerves, so you can also call them as transverse nerves, or you can call it as transverse commissure. Now, what is the meaning of a commissure? See, commissure is basically an object which is joining two different parts. So there are two ventral cords. These are joined by a structure which is called as a commissure. So this transverse commissure or the transverse nerves, these basically connect the two ventral nerve cords with each other. Is this clear? And because of that, the ventral nerve cord and the transverse commissure give a ladder like appearance to the body. So these are the next things. Now when we study about the ventral nerve cords, from the ventral nerve cords you can see that in every area where the transverse commissure is present, there are a bunch of nerves which are sent towards the exterior or towards the you can say periphery of the body, you can see these branches which I am drawing. Okay, these branches are basically present on both the sides of the transverse nerves, and these branches which are given out, these branches are called as peripheral, I'm sorry, these branches are called as peripheral nerve plexus. They are also called as PNP. So peripheral nerve plexus are a group of nerves which are given out from the ventral nerve cords and from the transverse commissure towards the periphery of the body. Alright, these branches are called as peripheral nerve plexus. So till now, what are the different parts of the central nervous system that we have seen in planaria? There is a cephalic or the cerebral ganglion, which is an inverted U-shaped structure, which is also called as the brain of the planaria. Then from the cephalic or cerebral ganglion arise two ventral nerve cords which are present on the ventral side of the body. They move downwards and they are connected to each other via transverse nerves or transverse commissure, also called as lateral nerves or lateral commissure, right? Then towards the periphery there are peripheral nerve plexus. Plexus is a group of nerves, right? Many nerves together, they are called as plexus. So peripheral nerve plexus is group of nerves which are given from the ventral nerve cord and the transverse commissure towards the periphery or the outside of the body. Is this clear? One more thing, this cephalic ganglion which is present, it also gives rise to nerves. So on each side there are 9 branches which are given out, all right, on both the sides, and these basically supply nerves to the different parts of the head. So I hope this is clear. This is called as the central nervous system which is present in planaria. Along with these different types or these different cells, you also have the sensory cells. Now these sensory cells are present on cords. So there are other cords present, okay, just like you have the ventral nerve cord, there are other cords which are parallel to the ventral nerve cords, and on these cords you will find the sensory cells. So if I have space here, I will try to show it. I don't have much space, so I'm showing a yellow cord over here. You can see this cord, all right, and on this cord you can see that I am drawing this circular cells, and these are the sensory cells. Again over here I will draw this cord over here, and this is your cord which is carrying the sensory cells. So here you can see that the sensory cells are arranged very well with the help of cords. There is a ventral nerve cord, there is transverse commissure, there is a cephalic ganglion, right? And this is called as a central nervous system. It is called as a central nervous system because it is passing through the central axis of the body and it is connecting the entire body. That is why it is called as a central nervous system. There is no spinal cord, there is no brain, but it is passing through the central axis of the body and it has got a definite symmetry. That is why it is called as a central nervous system. So I hope this nervous system in planaria is clear, right? So with that we end our chapter. So in today's chapter we have basically studied what is the function of a nervous system, what is the function of an endocrine system. Then we studied 2 examples of lower animals, one belonging to phylum Cnidaria, that is Hydra. We studied the diffuse type of nervous system in them, right? Then the next example was of phylum Platyhelminthes. We studied the example of our planaria, and planaria has got central nervous system. It is a very simple type of central nervous system. We studied the different parts in that. So with that our lecture concludes, right? I'm going to make more videos on control and coordination, and I'll try to upload them regularly. If you like this lecture, please put in a like, do comment, all right, because comments from my viewers definitely motivate me more, and criticism is also welcome, right? If you have yet not subscribed to my channel, do subscribe. Press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I upload a video, and also share this video with all your acquaintances, your friends, relatives, so that many people who want these videos, they will be helped. Thanks a lot.